that was a dream come true for me.
I'll
Not
bet.
only my biggest ever event, the biggest lineup I'd ever had with, heroes of mine ranging from real estate, icons and things. And, not only on the stage with, all of my friends and mentors and things, but sitting in that audience where it was luminaries like yourself.
Fantastic.
They're learning. And whenever I wasn't speaking, I was sitting there with you guys because that was just a dream come true for me.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I was not an Arnie fan before that event, I have to be honest, but I certainly was afterwards.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of fun. So, guys, we've been talking a little, sort of reminiscing. Of course, my guest, of course, needs absolutely no introduction, Leanne Pilkington, CEO of, I don't know if that's the title, but head of Lang & Simmons. That's where we met. Some maybe going on 8-9 years ago or something.
It's almost 10 years ago now. Yep, absolutely.
And are you ever going to age?
Oh, please.
Do us a favour, hey? Put on some wrinkles, because you look the same.
I've just put some Vaseline on my webcam, so you can't really see.
But what a 10-year ride it's been. I know that every 6 months, every year or so, we might send each other a Facebook message or high five at an event or have a hug at an awards ceremony or something. But it's been magnificent to see your rise, even though you were already luminary and kicking butt when we met back nearly a decade ago. But some friends of mine have of course I've befriended many Lang & Simmons agents, but my kids just moved from Two Coffs Harbour from Port Macquarie.
Oh, okay.
And I got to see that office take over a town. It grew, it moved, it's a mega office and stuff. Yeah. First question I sort of want to put to you before we get to some of the matters that I know many of these guys are pressing.
I want to know,
There's so many questions we're getting outside of COVID madness, but before this craziness took us over, about brands and do you need a brand, and there's independence. There's some of these brands that are giving low fees, but maybe delivering maybe less than premium service, almost like a cost-cutting agent, perhaps. And then there's premium brands, perhaps, or that are charging a high fee, and everywhere in between. Yeah. What are you seeing from from the perspective of sort of one of them? What are you seeing that you're giving to your guys to have growth where offices like that happen, that take over an entire town, from the looks of it, from the outside?
Yeah, certainly that's been a great office for 2.5 decades now. But I would say, and the thing that I say to people all the time when they talk about joining a brand, whether it's Lang & Simmons or another brand, is that there is a different franchise group to suit a different personalities. Some people don't need a franchise brand. Some people are very happy and should be independents. Others really want the support of a franchise behind them for a lot of different reasons. And whilst we all do provide a lot of the same kind of things, we provide it very, very differently. And so from a Lang & Simmons perspective, I've been with the brand now for 25 years. And so they are genuinely.
So you started at 5 years old, did you?
Thank you so much, and I love you right back. I used to say, because this is my 40th year in real estate, and I used to say to people I started when I was 12, but that still makes me bloody old, right? So that's the reality. That's the reality of things as it stands. But I've because I've been around for so long, I know my franchisees so well, and I know a lot of their families, and I do feel like they are family, and we support our family. And so yes, we do. We've got great training programs and all of that sort of stuff. But what is really different about Lang & Simmons is the genuine, it's the culture. And that's hard to put your finger on. It's hard for me to sell. You have to see it. But if you speak to any of the officers we've put on in the last few months, none of them can believe the level of support that they get from my corporate team, because my corporate team are every bit as passionate about me. So that's enough of the ad for Lang & Simmons. I mean, I do love to be able to talk about the brand, but
Well, it does lead to, though, how you're deploying that in this current lunacy. And by the way, that culture, I know it is hard to put the finger on, but even back 8 years ago, when we raised a glass with many of your people, and there was work time, there was learn time, and then there was certainly play time. And I got to feel that culture firsthand with your guys, So,
Thank you.
Certainly there.
Yeah.
How then is that translating to what has been the hottest topic in real estate history?
Yeah.
first off, let's start with some of the nitty gritty of governmental. Then we maybe talk about maybe why some of these things are happening, what we can do about them. So give us an update for those of you guys who haven't seen you on your own Facebook Lives. And I know that you've been the talk of the town. You've been doing the rounds.
I've been everywhere.
Give us for those of you for those of us who haven't heard, what was the governmental recommendations? When did they turn into mandated procedures, etc.? Where are we at?
So where we are right now is that we cannot do auctions. We can't do in-rooms auctions. We can't do on-site auctions. But what we can do is either online auctions, or we can have an auctioneer in an agent's office with the listing agent, so long as our buyers and our vendors are not on site. They're either on the phone or online doing that remotely. So that's where we are. And open for inspections are no more. It is by appointment only. And when we are doing appointments, we've got to be mindful of the social distancing. Whoever knew that was going to be a phrase
that wasn't even a word a week and a half ago.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, I'd never heard of an epidemiologist or that. Like, there are terms that my vocabulary has increased by about 10 words.
I know. It's crazy. But all of those social distancing, make sure people have their hands in their pockets when they're going through, have the vendor outside, only have the buyer. And so, yes, it's okay to have the husband and wife. And yeah, that's about where we are right now. We will have more information tonight. My understanding is that it will be around rent relief for tenants. I have heard that it will only be commercial tonight and residential tomorrow, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a fact, but we do need to get clear on how we can help our tenants and therefore our property managers.
So certainly now, you know what, I want to ask you, and you may not know because they may not have given us any hard definitions, because I know these things, because the government must be under such pressure to invoke policy. A lot of the time they're probably making up the nuances along the way. I can only imagine, like this border control with certain exceptions. I mean, that must be a nightmare for everyone who has their own nuanced reasons for crossing the border. It must be crazy. But how have they defined how a open for inspection would be differentiated from a time-based series of private inspections that happen between 10 a.m. and 11:30, 15 minutes apart? But no, I mean, see how that's close to an open for inspection?
Yeah, it is very close to an open for inspection. And frankly, that's what I was telling my people to do last week. Anyway, was to, yes, have the property open between 10 and 11, but schedule appointments every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's just about, we just have to, and I keep saying to my people, stop focusing on what you can't do and focus on what you can do. Stop worrying about those little details. The government is trying to avoid lots of people gathering together. Lots of people last week was 100 people. Lots of people this week is 10 people. So let's just
5 at dinner, isn't it? What's the 5 one? Or is that a wedding?
Yeah, something like that.
5 is a wedding. Oh my God, let's cancel a wedding. Jesus.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So let's just focus on, we know what the government's trying to achieve. So let's focus on helping them achieve that, because my fear is that we will be in lockdown very soon. And my fear is that this Saturday could well be the last Saturday that we have the ability to do those inspections. And I don't know. I don't have any inside information on it. That is just my sense. But, I went out to my entire group yesterday. I did a video SMS to my whole everybody yesterday saying, I think auctions and opens are going to be over very, very soon. And of course that happened last night. So things are moving quickly, and the government is employing a really smart strategy, I think, in that they're just giving us a little bit of bad news. Well, they're giving us bits of bad news at a time. So
they're boiling the frog, I suppose.
They are. That's exactly right. And it's smart, because if they had have gone and done all of this all in one go, it would have been more pandemonium than it already has been. So I understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. But I also know that there's been a hell of a lot of real estate transacted this week.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
busy.
Leanne, I mean, for those of you guys who are watching all of my craziness, every time I do one of these, different people send me in their success stories. So, you know, this was the first week of the craziness where Sebastian was 3 million and Phil Parker was doing great. This is Michael Choi with just amazing results.
Fantastic.
This is Mark up in Brisbane, 6 groups on average, you know, still coming through. This was Julie on just a couple of episodes of this ago. This is Saturday before last, in the middle of ground zero meltdown. First open through 25, 11 multiple offers and sold at first open. So we can't say there's nothing being transacted.
No.
But it's certainly...
But can I say to you that those sorts of posts, unfortunately, were part of the reason why open homes were always going to go, right? Because the government's going, social distancing is going to be challenging in environments like that.
Yeah, well, but they're not watching me, Leanne. Don't give me that much credit.
No, it's not just you, my friend. I wish it was just you. But there's been a lot of that, and agents are also promoting on social media, you know, right now, videos and stuff of successful auctions that were done last week and the weekend before. And it's just sending the wrong message. I completely get what people are trying to achieve.
Of course.
But we need to be clear on the messages we're sending. And if we're not, we're going to find ourselves shut down even faster.
Yeah, that makes real sense, doesn't it? That, even though we're sitting there, you know, we've all got, you know, again, the good agents might have I remember one of my friends, Michael Spillane, he's got a testimonial. It's a beautiful testimonial. It's a guy saying, and we would have to come back just hours later because he had so many people at the open for inspection. You know, it was just wonderful, and he got us more than the asking price. But what's he saying? He may be talking about a while ago. But he's, you know, again, the government sees, oh my God. So
exactly. It's exactly. It's fascinating times.
Yeah. Well, so let me let's go on to, well, the other day, Leanne, I took the guys through a bit of a class on how they can use, again, this platform, Zoom, which is a free platform, with a curtain from, I mean, I showed the guys, you know, if I just turn off this silly looking green screen, there's nothing magical whatsoever about that. That's just a curtain from, you know, that's just a curtain from,
I like it.
from Spotlight. And, you know, and so you can put, but you've got a nice professional background. I got a wall. But you can put your, you know, your brand subtly, like I was doing there. You could put it more boldly, or you could tell some breaking news. Like, there's one of my guys, he wanted breaking news about what we can do at a community level about the coronavirus.
That's fantastic.
So it's a free tool, and it's very powerful, you know, to have branded professional, because this looks way more professional than it is.
Because it looks flash. Well done.
And so agents can set that up virtually, you know, like virtually free. The Spotlight, $10 for green. Zoom free. And some graphic design to have something nice made to insert it in.
Really easy.
And then if they did, you know, something like PowerPoint, which again they also have. Then, you know, we've got, and these are some of the guys and some of the things they're doing. So what I showed them is well, this used to be my listing presentation, just, you know, just whatever. So what I did though, I gave it to my graphic designer and I said, stretch it out to be a proper PowerPoint. And now here you can deliver your listing presentation virtually, but not just, because I remember some agents were sort of saying, you know, that they would you know, just get on the phone and talk them through the listing presentation. But that gives you the opportunity for free, because we've all got PowerPoint. Zoom's free. Piece of green cloth you've either got or you could get from Spotlight for nothing. And you could deliver a world-class listing presentation at distance. And similarly, buyer runs. You could similarly, so we went through that the other day. Went through how to do a buyer run, a video, and a listing presentation. What would you add to doing business at distance? If I sort of already covered that on episode, whatever it was, 101. Anything you guys have been doing or that you've witnessed in your experience within the ladies of real estate environment, or within Lang & Simmons, the REI, NSW, and all of those hats that you wear, and I still don't know how you do all of it.
I don't know.
Well, have you seen anything else that people can do distance business-wise, some tools and some things?
Well, there's certainly a lot of online digital auction programs. There's a variety of those that that people are using. Zoom certainly is a great tool that I have been using this week to do.
I owe them more money.
I know. You
Actually, did you hear? This is a big shout out to Zoom. Let me pay them in a bit of shout out. They donated this product, its full suite of products, to educators to be able to deliver education to schools across the world. Donated.
How good is that?
What a freaking great company, hey?
Yeah, that's
now, I've been
amazing.
paying them for years for their high levels. So when we get the big webinars of 500,000, Massive shout out to that company. So that's why I plug. I'm just saying, don't worry about paying me, Zoom. Just guys, use Zoom. And if you do like the higher levels, pay them some money because they've done the right thing by the globe.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. And as you say, there are incredible things that you can do. There's some really great products available now for rental inspections. You know, I'm getting a lot of questions around routine inspections and all that sort of stuff. There's lots of ways of doing that online.
Some of you guys using Matterport for things like, you know, not only sales, but I've heard Matterport, you know, to your point, in property management inspections.
Yeah, Matterport are doing a great job in that space, absolutely. Some people are just using WhatsApp. And getting the tenants to go around and actually do the inspections, and there's an online like an AI product, and I can't remember the name, but I'll shoot it to you. And that is letting the tenant upload photos, for example. So you'll say, okay, give me a photo of the smoke alarm. And if the tenant uploads a photo of Mickey Mouse, it'll go, no, the smoke alarm.
So without a visual inspection.
Yeah. So there's some really cool stuff happening. And as horrifying as all of this stuff, you know, genuinely is going on in the world right now, innovation comes from challenge. And we have been slow to innovate in the real estate industry for a really long time. And I think that once we come out of this, and we will, once we come out of it, we won't do things the same way anymore.
I've been saying to a few of my students about, you know, something as simple as a Zoom-based green screen, good internet connection, PowerPoint-based listing presentation. I've been saying we would have got to this towards the end of our program. It's not critical to be able to deliver a great at-distance listing presentation for your investors interstate, for example. It's not first on my criteria. They've sort of forced me to do it earlier for my students, and now for everyone, of course. But yeah, they're going to leave with that ability when it's all back to normal. And now they can do a world-class listing presentation for investors around the world.
Yeah. Cause, I mean, this conversation is like we're just sitting next to each other. Yeah. You know, all I need is a shardy and I'll be fine.
This is my last appointment for the day, Leanne.
I'm jealous. I am so jealous. Never mind. Good for you.
And you brought it up, so that gave me permission.
Yeah, gave you permission. Absolutely. I'm just looking around quickly. No, I don't have anything.
Damn. Now, I want to get serious for a moment. I know I'm just after an opinion piece.
Sure.
And I'm going to then ask you if you've heard anything, because I'm a little bit in the dark and I've left it to Naomi to do this investigation.
Sure.
It seems like we're going all in for saving of life, which is wonderful.
Yep.
But there are some people that are saying that it might be an overstatement to a degree, to whether it's a little overstatement or a lot of an overstatement, but they're sacrificing our economy in favor of that. And maybe some of those people were, you know, going, you know, given that their flu is killing people or whatever. There's all of that debate going on. I'm not here to talk about one way or the other.
Yeah.
But where do you see the economic repercussions going after this, with so many businesses just unable to have cash flow, and with so many, not just real estate, I mean gyms and hairdressers and pubs and things.
Everybody.
And many of those businesses work on that much of a margin.
Oh, I know.
So this is devastating.
Yeah.
What do you see the economics of this? I mean, I hate to say it, are we heading for some sort of recession? Is it going to be horrible, bit bad, bit annoying, or is it going to be okay? What are your thoughts?
So I have been sort of going out all week saying, people, focus on what you can do, focus on getting the deals done. I have been optimistic. I have been trying to keep it, you know, trying to keep everybody focused on just getting deals done, because my genuine fear is that within a week or two, we won't be able to be doing hardly any deals. And within another week or two after that, there won't be any deals to be done. I've spoken to a lot of people in the last 24 hours whose businesses, so big real estate groups, as in the commercial real estate groups, banks and the like, their staff are in lockdown at home, and they've been told to expect to be working from home for 6 months. I've been told that the peak, that for the best guess, the peak won't hit in Sydney until May or June. And I'm no expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just analysing the information that I think is credible.
And that's
because not
tough
all, yeah,
because everyone
totally
on
is.
Facebook doesn't have your level of I'm no expert. It seems everyone else is.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And I've actually got a Facebook group, Facebook Messenger group with all of the Lang & Simmons business owners, and I just keep feeding things through that because I keep on getting these messages going, but what about the fact, what about, and it's like, no, those things that we don't know that for sure yet. So, yeah, and if we don't get through the peak of this until May or June, for real estate agents, that doesn't mean we'll be back out in the field by then.
That just means that's when we can say the numbers aren't going up, they're going down.
Correct. And so we can start to see that things are kind of coming over the other side. And then if you think that if we've got to do deals and we won't be able to get deals done, from the day we get back out in the field, how long is it going to take them to get money in the bank? So yeah, things are going to be really bad, Glenn. And it can't tell you how much it hurts me to actually say that.
Especially given your relationship with your franchise owners, you aren't just like someone in an ivory tower. These people I know have become close to you, friends, if not family.
Well, some of them literally are family.
Literally are family. How's Kent, by the way?
Yeah, Kent's doing really well. He's done a couple of deals this week. My sister Lyndall is running around getting properties leased. So yeah, they are frantic at the moment, just like everybody else in the business.
Have any of your guys explored and then successfully gotten any of those stimulus packages? Because now, I'm completely unfamiliar with the specifics, but I've heard figures of $20,000 minimums and up to $100,000 and perhaps even more. So that might help some companies float through a couple of months, maybe. Have you heard about any success stories? And am I barking up the wrong tree?
No, you're absolutely not. Those business stimulus measures are going to be incredibly important. And the great news with them is that you don't actually have to apply for them. They will just come through to you automatically through the BAS.
Through the BAS process.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so that is fantastic news.
That'll be nice.
Yeah,
you know what? Here's the problem, right? Leanne. It'll be nice when it happens, and you will go, and we'll be nice for 5 minutes, and then we'll breathe a sigh of relief again, and then we'll go, oh, okay, back to this pain, because it's going to only help us get through. It ain't going to be a windfall.
Yeah, and I believe that it is spread over 2 financial years. Now, that's okay because the financial year is July, right? So half this financial year, half the next financial year. Obviously, I have had some business owners tell me that their bank, in particular CBA, have been very proactive with helping them with their business loan account. So there's a particular CBA account and they've just basically put on hold for repayments. They're helping people get access to the $250,000 loan that they can get. So some of the banks are being really proactive, which is great news. And of course, business owners are now looking, and in fact, I've just been doing the same thing, going through my P&L, pulling out all of the subscriptions I'm not using, and talking to team members about, okay, who can take holidays? We're going to, everybody is having all of those conversations. For business owners, if they haven't spoken to the Real Estate Employers Federation that looks after their state, I would definitely reach out to them. If anybody's in New South Wales and wants a copy of the info that Reef have sent out, happy to shoot that through. It's terrible times, and we've just got to get focused on doing what we need to do to get through it.
There was so something popped into my head. Okay, yeah. So let me ask you this then. Say the worst of it'd be wonderful if it stayed like it is as far as lockdown is concerned. We were able to do one-on-one inspections. Say they go to the next level. Say they go.
I'm pretty sure. I think we can safely say that they will.
Do you think? Well, does that mean we must stay in our home and cannot leave except for an emergency or or food? I mean, what's the talk? Can we go out to Woolies?
Yes. I'm no expert on this, but and you don't know until I'll stop it. Put that down. I'm no expert, and I can only share my understanding of the situation. But if we are on lockdown, then we are only allowed out for essential services. Now, for some people, essential services is still going to work, depending on what you do for a living. And there's been a lot of conversation around whether real estate will be considered that or not.
Yeah, I think we posted in Canada that it was just deemed essential. So
was it? That's good
Wouldn't that
news.
be wonderful if that set a precedent that allowed it to be essential here?
You know, obviously, yeah, we've had conversations around that as well, and I think that we can very effectively argue that the property management side of our business is certainly sales. I don't think, even though plenty of people need to move and need to buy and sell for various reasons. And a lot of people are saying to me, okay, Leanne, if we're going to lockdown, what happens with settlements and people moving? And the simple answer is, I don't know yet. But the way that these things work is the government makes an announcement, and then people like me with connections into the government then email their government friends and say, okay,
what about?
What does this mean? X, Y, Z. And so then usually by relatively early the next morning, we get some clarity that we can then share with people.
I wonder if there's a chance because I just cannot see the real estate world, and I mean the public now, I don't mean us as agents, I mean the buying and selling public.
Sure.
I can't see them putting their lives on hold for 6 months and not transacting if it's possible to transact. I wonder if we will now take a quantum leap forward in us figuring out how to get a homeowner to photograph the house appropriately enough for us to showcase a house, use DocuSign to translate, to do what if we ended up being able to do real estate transactions that way?
Yeah, it's absolutely possible that things could evolve to that level, because what's really interesting with humans in general is that the new normal becomes the new normal, right?
Yeah.
And we do, like I said before, we innovate in times of challenge, and it's going to be fascinating to see. But I was talking to somebody who had come from Europe a very long time ago and had been in the war and all of that sort of stuff, and they said eventually the bombs going off overhead just became normal. And it's like it's so hard to imagine that would ever be normal, but
and yet here we are in the middle of our own version. Hey,
I know. Yeah, totally.
What would you see? There's, how do I word this? I can't think of a better word than aggro. Have you noticed an unprecedented amount? It might just be hovering around me because I attract maniacs. I don't know. But have you noticed a intolerance, just an aggro? I can't think of a better word. That those who are in the camp of this is too much are mad at anyone who's saying, hey, this is a bit of an overstatement. Yeah. Those who are thinking, hey, look, flu, 8 people, they're mad at the people who want lockdown for health reasons, for destroying the economy. And they're not just mad at each other in healthy debate. I'm seeing unprecedented levels of aggression. What's been your observation, and any thoughts as to can we do anything about it, or is it just going to be
fear? Let's face it, it is fear, and everybody expresses that differently. And I've been accused just today of being naive about what's to come, and I shouldn't be telling people to focus on business as usual and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've got the same.
And I'm going back to people saying that's absolutely not the case. I am far from naive.
That's what I called you.
Yeah, exactly. And I am not saying business as usual, but what I am saying is we have a window of time, people. Focus. Do what you need to do to get the deals done right now, because we don't know how much longer that environment is going to be available to us. So I'm saying cut out the distractions, get the job done. We can worry about the doom and gloom next week. It's not helping us get the job done today. Does that make sense? Yep. And so that's what I've been trying to achieve with my people. But the reality is that the people that are aggressive, the people that are dismissive, the people that are, they're scared. And I get that. Yeah. But that's just the way that they express that fear.
We haven't had a chance to talk about it, and I'd love to just spend just a second on it, because I was in awe of, you were on with Rick Rushton, our mutual friend, Rick. God love him.
One of my favourite people. Yeah.
Oh, he's just one of the most. And that book of his, I read the first and second chapter of that. I was already on the phone to him saying, "Have you been just hiding in my cupboard?"
I know.
You know?
It's so good, isn't it?
So
So
good.
good. Yeah.
Massive shout and love to Rick. You were talking about, the role of females within the industry. And before this, it seems that little debate's been forgotten over since this craziness.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I loved your answer on that. I loved it because,
what
there
was
it was just around, are women disadvantaged in our industry? And are they, a second-class citizen to their big male counterpart? And I loved your answer. So what would be your take if
What was my answer, Glenn?
It was just around, it was perfectly around, you earned your stripes, girl. Yeah. And I was sitting there going, you put any man up against that woman, there's a reason she's the head of everything she ever touches.
Yeah, sure. I had some interesting feedback from somebody just last week. In fact, one of my business owners said to me, "Oh, Leanne, you need to get younger women involved in the women in real estate movement." But they're sort of saying to me that they think that it's a whole lot of middle-aged women trying to get away from their husbands.
So now we're ageist.
Yeah, but that's okay. Maybe that is the answer for some of them. And they don't see that they need it. And I get that because I was like that originally, and I did not want to be put into this women's corner. That was not my aim. I know anybody who doesn't know me watching this would think, how on earth, because I'm so far out in front in that space.
Yes.
But I've been pushed, let me tell you, rather than taken that space willingly. But what I have realised is that women connect and communicate differently when men aren't in the room. That's the simple fact of the matter. And what I've realised is the incredible network that I've now got around the country of wonderful women. I would never have met them if it wasn't for this Real Women in Real Estate network. And I didn't know how much I needed them. And I didn't know how awesome they all were. And I have just made the most incredible friendships, but also business relationships. And we've all been in touch with each other in the last couple of days. Come on, lovely, how are you? What can I do to help? What can we do together? All of that kind of, it's just, it's been wonderful. But there are plenty of women who don't need that assistance. There are plenty of women absolutely ripping and tearing in this industry. And I think real estate is the perfect industry for women. I really do. It's not to say men aren't good at it. Obviously, there's lots of really great men, but women just, they bring a different side.
I remember when I was recruiting as a sales manager in the early 2000s, 8 out of the top 10 agents in this state, in Queensland, were female. And so it's a meritocracy, and those skills that women have in building rapport and connection and communication. And I would say to the blokes when I was recruiting them, I would say to the ladies in our organisation, I would say, now that doesn't mean just you'll be right, love, and you don't have to do a gosh darn thing. Nor does that mean, Sonny Jim, that you can just forget it and leave. What that means is we got to work that little bit harder just to be square when it comes to that rapport building stuff, because there's certainly things that, differences that are to be celebrated that put different people in front in different areas. So and
it's about, it really is genuinely about diversity. Because half of the people that are our clients are women, the other half are men. And so we need to have both perspectives, and we can all learn so much from each other. Women can learn from the confidence and the risk taking that a lot of men are happy. They don't even think about it as risk taking. Men are
that's just life.
Yeah, totally. And the men can learn from the women, the way that women communicate and empathize and all of that sort of stuff. We can just learn from each other.
Yeah. I've loved, because I'm in a partnership where it's almost like I know, some people who don't know me too well may not believe this, but I'm the female of our relationship and Naomi's the bloke, meaning I have such female characteristics, and she is the strong risk taker. It is interesting that those characteristics absolutely can be, even though I still am man enough to be a man and, have that amazing woman as my partner, but it's certainly, we're able to play in each other's space, but then still respect when men have a maybe more tender side, or when females have a strong side. I just believe that whoever's got the best skills is going to win that listing, and no amount of a man saying, I should have got it, who's that chick think she is, or no woman saying, well, that's a man's world and it's not fair. The judge, jury and executioner is that seller, you know.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I tell you, I loved it. We got to do when we do it again, and it is a when, because every year Naomi and I say, when can we fit in Phenomenal Women? Because I remember when we did that event some years ago, Michael Spillane and I were the only two men in the room.
Woohoo.
We were lugging chairs. We were just, that's what we were. And I tell you, that was one of the best events I ever had. It was a shame that that your schedule wouldn't allow you.
I know, I was away somewhere at the time. I would have loved to be there. But
I mean, Kitty Flanagan tore the place down.
She would have been amazing.
It was wonderful. So when we do that again, we've talked to Vivian Yap, and she's
great. Yeah, she's awesome. Yep.
She's a great friend of ours, and we took her to Arnold Schwarzenegger's house with us, and she's wonderful.
Where was I?
Well, I sent out the invite, so all right, that's it. You're on the list now. I tell you though, we sometimes play poker, and when he plays poker, let me just promise you, the buy-ins hurt.
Yeah, that's
the last
probably
time
above my pay grade, particularly after coronavirus.
My pay grade. All the profit for the year is on the table.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone was there, Jason Statham was there, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's house, and his dickhead us.
How good is that?
Dreams come true, Leanne.
Yeah, they sure do.
Set the goals high. So
absolutely.
Well, thank you for jumping on. It's far too long between drinks.
It has, yes, it has been.
I look forward to when we do get our next Phenomenal Women on there, we'll make sure we call you first and say, now, Leanne, you tell us the dates.
When can you fit it in? Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll build everything else around you. Congratulations on everything, on the REI, on the brand expansion, on all of the innovations you've done in and around the industry. I've never met a more selfless person that gives to anyone, not just your Lang & Simmons people. I've seen your praise being sung across the industry. So my thanks for just having me to be that tiny little part of it some 10 years ago. But again, colleagues ever since that have had such a healthy respect, and certainly my respect for you is without peer. So thank you, Leanne.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing some of your constant updates on your Facebook Live. So guys, follow Leanne. Check out those Facebook Lives, because she really does have an ear to the ground with all these things. And goodness, let's hope that if there is a way that we can transact property, if there is another level of lock-it-downedness, that there's still enough leeway that we can get some photos taken, that we can run some virtual inspections, that we can use DocuSign and maybe some of those other technology pieces, so we don't just all hang up the marker pen and hang up the tie and the name badge. And
because when we come back, when we get through it, right, it's going to be pedal to the metal, and we are going to have to go. So we need to do what we can in the interim and be communicating with people, not necessarily ringing saying, do you want to buy and sell, but just ringing, having conversations, talking to people. Just you've got plenty of time to ring your database.
That's a good question. Let me throw this one to you, given that I'll get your opinion on this, because I only just sort of talked about it with one of my clients a couple of hours ago. So I'll throw this one by you, because often when we're wanting to do appraisals that aren't listing opportunities, right, just to check up on price, just to build some love, the outcome that we're after is just that they meet us, they get to know, oh, wow, they don't seem like a typical one of them. They seem pretty cool. So I thought, if that was our normal outcome for doing appraisals, that a non-listing opportunity, then what about this for a script? So Leanne, I knock on your door and I step back, given while we're allowed to, knock on the door, step back 4 meters so that I'm very much, social distance, or it could even be on the phone.
I would do it on the phone at the moment, Glenn. I don't think we should be telling people to door knock.
Absolutely. So it might be, Leanne, this, it is Leanne, because I've got you on the database. I know we haven't spoken in a while, but it's Glenn Twiddle here. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, and hopefully if you've done your marketing stuff, they'd say, oh yeah, you're the real estate idiot, hopefully. As you know, this is our area. I'm a neighbour of yours, and the world's gone crazy. Half our suburb is in, house arrest almost. Is there anything you need? You need some mints? Do you need a shopping run done?
Yeah, I think it's an amazing idea.
Would that be a win? Just something stupid, and just saying, what can I do? Can I get you some Dunning roll? Or if there is
I was just going to say, if there's an agent in Glenhaven in Sydney that has got any toilet paper, I would love some.
Oh yeah, the under the tissues, baby wipes.
Out of it, I tell you. Yeah, I'm tempted to steal some from the office, but that would be inappropriate.
The thing that amazed me, Leanne, that because this thing really went overnight in my head, from a joke about toilet paper to real Saturday a week ago. The day before it was just Dunny roll jokes, and now it's, oh my God, all hell's breaking.
I know,
But
it's interesting.
when I went to get the toilet paper, there was none, but there was stacked to the rafters tissue boxes for $1 each.
Yeah, right.
We've lost our mind.
We've lost our mind. I still don't understand the whole toilet paper thing, but, you know, that's okay.
Anyway, one of my students is shipping me up a bidet. You know those things?
Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely. That's a great idea. A friend of
God
mine
bless
got
my
one,
students.
and
Aren't they
that's
wonderful?
fabulous. Yeah.
So I'll let you know how that goes, but not with a visual Facebook
No,
Live,
thank
Leanne.
you. I'd appreciate that very much.
Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, it's been great to catch
You're
up.
the best. Put
All
Glenn
right.
Twiddle as owing you one, and the favour is definitely in there if ever you need anything.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye for
Bye.
now.